In this video, we're going to go through how to add a color to your knit, and we're going to review how to carry your colors up your work to keep everything looking great and tidy without having to weave in a million different ends at the end.
So let's add some stripes to this little swatch. I've already knit a few stockinette stitches in this natural color here. And now I'm going to add some oxblood. So your yarn tail is here on the bottom. Your yarn ball end is on the top of your little loop that you have here. Wrap it around so that the yarn tail is on the bottom and the yarn ball end is on the top, like as if you're knitting like normal. Now, pull that contrast color through and you'll see you just created your first stitch with your contrast color. You're gonna notice though that the tension's pretty loose. So just snug it up. Here, the tension for that stitch is coming from this old natural color here, not from the new color. So now we're gonna knit along the row in our new color. So when you get back to that first stitch that you created, things are going to get kind of loose because there's nothing really holding it down. Knit it, but then you can go back in and just kind of snug everything up by pulling on the yarn ends. You can leave these like this until the very end and weave this in at the end of your work. If you're concerned about the stitch right now being too loose and that it'll fall out, you can just take your sewing needle and weave it in through your work right now. I tend to just leave it until the very end. Okay, so we've got now 2 rows of our contrast color, but now I want to bring back my natural color. So what I usually do is I want to kind of lock these down and bring both of these yarn tails up at the same time so that we don't get these like long loopy floats kind of happening on the side of our work. So I take the color that I'm working in right now and I push it to the front, and then I take my new color and I start knitting with it from the back. And you'll see why. Now, we have a loop that's kind of interlocked. The contrast and the main color are interlocked right there, and that's going to maintain tension and carry both of those colors up at the same time. So I will knit this main color now. And now that last stitch. Okay. So I want to knit some more rows of natural because I want this natural colored stripe to be just as wide as this one. But I don't want to forget this one down here, this contrast yarn tail down here. I want to bring it up with my work along the side. So we're going to interlace these yarns. I'll get these yarn tails out of the way. We're going to interlace our yarn ball ends. So we're going to take this one and cross it over counterclockwise. And then we're going to take this one, cross it over counterclockwise. So we're going to start knitting again. I'm knitting with my natural color. You just kind of snug that up, get that out of the way.
So that's it. So just remember, every 2 to 3 rows, interlace your colors so they're both brought up your work at the same time. And when you're done, trim and weave in your loose ends.